Welcome to the AFC Shakedown, brought to you by Mafia Sports Report and Ace Per Head and Sports Jedi Network. What is going on, guys? We are without Trevor and Juan today because they are in New England to watch their zappy Patriots try to win a game. But hey, man, have fun, guys. We miss you here, man. So, Curtis, my man, how was your weekend, bro? Let's start real quick. How was your weekend? How you been, man? How you been? You getting better? You feeling better?
Yeah, I'm feeling better, man. But I guess, I wasn't going to say anything, I guess bring it up. Dude, my best friend in the world, man, went to visit New York in September, and he had like a pancreas issue. Went to the top hospital. They said, hey, you're all right. I was like, oh, thank God. Found out a couple days ago he's got a year to live. Maybe if he gets chemo, that they misdiagnosed it. His pancreas is cancer-ridden, and it's wrapped around an artery, and maybe even going into the liver. I've never heard of cancer go that quick, so I'm like down, man. I just feel like,
oh man, well, prayers, thoughts and prayers, guys. Go out to
young kids and everything, man. It just shows you how you got to always get a second opinion. Somebody tells you you're screwed or you're good. I had my brother-in-law told he had cancer. He got a second opinion. They said, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. You got to always get second and third opinions. Don't trust the doctors. That's, so I'm good, but, I'm personally getting better, but my best friend in the world's going to be leaving soon. That kind of sucks.
Well, we all, thoughts and prayers, man. Sorry about that. We never like to hear that here. No. That's rough. Man. Man, God,
well, that's a downer. That's it with a
I'm sorry, man. That's rough. That's rough. But you know what, man? Yeah, man. This is, like I said, thoughts and prayers go out to him, and I hope just be there for him. That's all you can do, man.
Yeah.
Be a good friend. Anyway, Jedi Kev, what's going on, brother? How was your weekend, man?
That's a tough one to follow, but I'm holding. It is. I'm holding. I'm trying to get away with a little holding, but you know how it goes.
All right, you got some people out there praying for your buddy, man. Yeah. So let's get to it. Last week, man, we'll start real quick with the game that really didn't matter, but we'll talk about it anyways. Giants went ahead and beat the Patriots. I don't know who you guys predicted last week. I think I did predict the Giants to win because the Patriots are that bad on offense, but I said it would be low scoring, and it sure was. 10-7, Curtis. 10-7. What's your thoughts on that game? Mac Jones being pulled yet again, and by the way, being benched officially starting this week.
I watch almost every AFC game. I didn't even watch the game. I was like, let me check it out at a certain point. I saw like a pick or two, and I was like, I didn't. That's like one of the few AFC East games I had no interest to watch, but I was going to, and by the time I went to even look at it, it was a disaster. Mac Jones is something very, very weird going on in New England. It doesn't feel like, I don't know. It seems like there's some kind of scammage going on, and I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if they're tanking or I don't know. It's just really weird. But that team is going to lose probably for the rest of the season. And something weird's going on. I just don't know what it is, but it was kind of interesting from the beginning, but now it's absolutely abysmal to even watch. It's not even football.
So Mac Jones, 12 of 21, 89 yards, 2 interceptions.
Yeesh.
Not
Make Zach Wilson look like a Hall of Famer.
It's crazy, right? Like I keep going back to, I do not know how we made him look so great. Zappy wasn't much better. 9 of 14, 54 yards, 1 interception. They don't. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that team. But
I think
it's horrendous. They could be, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see what if they. Do you think they keep Bill around? You think he stays?
I don't know. I heard some people saying, "Oh, he's going to the Panthers." That'd be totally insane.
Right.
I don't know.
I didn't hear that, but
yeah, some guy who's like a pretty famous like analyst or whatever they call him. He's like, "Oh yeah, he got inside source. He's going to the Panthers." I'm like, "Why the hell did he go there for?" They got an unproven quarterback. They don't really have a lot of talent. They gave away a lot of picks. I mean, if he wants to totally ruin his career, he might as well go there, which would be great for me and Don Shula. But I don't.
Unless they're willing to give him what he wants, and that's GM full control, and they fire the GM. And
don't you think he could find another job someplace else with a better opportunity?
Not
possibly, but Carolina has a young quarterback there. Maybe somebody That's in place now. I don't think that I still don't like the quarterback they drafted, but maybe it's just a challenge for him. But he will have full control. But yeah, what's your thoughts, Jedi Kev, on that?
To that point, remember the owner is a millionaire that's from New Jersey. I forget his name. I know he's a millionaire from New Jersey. You know he was a former Giant fan before coming an owner, and there's some ties and nostalgia. I could see him giving the keys to the franchise for Belichick to go and run the Panthers, step back, get away, because to get rid of Frank Reich so early, first year head coach, and he didn't even finish the season. I mean, come on, you would have told me Adam Gase if the Jets would have done that. Understandable, but Frank Reich, not for nothing, is a pretty good head coach. He didn't deserve that. So that's that. With my thoughts on that. When it comes to the Panthers, I think there's legs to that at the end of the day, Curtis. Now for the Jets, actually the Giants and Patriots game. What about Tommy DeVito coming in? Go, homeboy's getting sandwiches named after him, autograph signing.
Right? 191 touchdown, yeah.
They had a touchdown, 191 yards, a 111 quarterback rating for the guy out of New Jersey. Yay! And Saquon Barkley, the Giants, it wasn't the prettiest game, but it was effective.
Yeah, it was.
You watched it, huh? You're a brave man.
No, I was doing my chores.
I watched Red Zone and it barely came up because they were barely in the red zone.
I mean, let's face it, a missed field goal there. It could have been a tie game. I mean, I know crazy.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the game that it's tough to talk about. Eagles, Bills on Sunday. By the way, probably maybe the game of the year so far. Up there. It's up there. I would say Thursday's game, by the way. Not that it's an AFC game, but that Seattle-Dallas game was man, that was a battle.
Yeah, it's a really good game.
That was probably the best Thursday game I've seen all year. But this Eagles-Bills game came down to the wire. I guess I'll start with you, Curtis. What's your thoughts on the Eagles beating the Bills 37-34? And then I'll also double up with that. What's your thoughts on Joe Brady?
Well, I like what Joe Brady was doing, man. You guys should have won. Just missed 2 field goals. I thought I was like, and then there was a miscommunication at the end. There was some penalties. The refs had some weird calls as usual, but Absolutely. There was just there was 1 of 2 field goals, and they weren't like, you're kicking from out of state or something. It was the Bills let it slide away. I mean, I don't know who to blame. It's starting with the kicker. Should have made at least 1 of those 2. And then I thought Brady did pretty good. I thought he did pretty good. I thought he had a good game plan. I mean, you guys were ahead. You were in charge. And then there was a few that one call that they had a hand around the back of the horse collar thing, and they called that intentional grounding. That was a little crazy. And there was a clear holding call. But I got the same thing for my Dolphins. So
it's been like that all year. Yep.
So I mean. To me, I thought the Bills had it. I was very impressed with the way they came out. And it just,
boy, oh boy.
I don't know.
Yeah,
the Bills got a little bit of Patriots in them with the way they screw things up, man.
It's really boiling down to, and I guess I'll double up again on this one. So, one, is this boiling down to it's our head coach, like just not closing the show? Sean McDermott. Now he's in charge of the defense, Curtis, and it seems like this year, all the games we've lost, even, a lot of that we won have been 1-score games. And the defense, which he controls, which he calls, has given up the lead or the go-ahead and touchdown or field goal to win the game. So what's your thoughts on Sean McDermott, like this year as a defense coordinator, just a head coach in general? Like just not being – he's, by the way, 1-6 now in overtime. Not a good overtime record. Defense has failed us on many, many, many occasions. Do you think this is a McDermott issue, just him kind of folding in key moments?
Nah, I don't know. I think the guy. Look, you lost Daquan, you lost Milano. White never really, materialized. He got injured, and he's out. Von Miller is like a shadow of himself. Maybe totally a shadow. But I thought you put yourself in many opportunities to win.
Yeah.
And there's some calls I didn't like. I didn't like the two blitzes in a row. And there's certain calls maybe here or there. But again, he had the lead. You missed 2 field goals. You got these weird calls by the ref. And I don't know. I mean, a little bit. I mean, he's in charge. Ultimately, he's responsible. I think his biggest responsibility is not firing Dorsey to start the season and putting Brady in, because Brady's light years better than Dorsey. I mean, Dorsey is terrible. If a schmuck like me could figure it out, how does he not figure it out? I'd have had Brady, you know what I'm saying? I'd have put Brady in the offseason. Like, listen, sorry, man. He's like, this is obvious. You know, so that's
at least weeks earlier, right? I mean, at least weeks earlier.
At least 2-3 weeks earlier.
Right. By the way, refereeing, it's been terrible all year. I don't want to blame the game on the refs, because every team has got hosed this year by the refs. So terrible calls, but ultimately at the end, we still took the lead. We still had the opportunity to win the game, and at the end of the day, we didn't. So I will say this on the McDermott too, man. Like, some coaches coach to win, some coach not to lose, right? They coach not to lose. And I feel like McDermott, he coaches not to lose. He gets very tight in games. He gets, passive. He gets, conservative.
He's got a little shaky bones.
He gets conservative. Like, it's weird because, and he also, the in-game adjustments weren't there either. So if you look at halftime, the first half, our defense was lights out. Second half, Philly adjusted. McDermott didn't adjust, and the Philly just ran wild in the second half. That was the story of the game, really, right? So I don't know, man. I just feel like McDermott, also 20 seconds to go. You waste the timeout, by the way, which is, I don't even know why you would waste a timeout on that field goal attempt by Philly. You would have 2 timeouts, 20 seconds to go. You got to trust your offense a little bit. He didn't even give us an opportunity to go down and try to score a field goal to win the game. That's a little bit conservative, in my opinion.
I don't know. I don't know. They got a good pass rush. It's rainy out a little bit.
But we did.
Allen has a tendency to throw picks.
Allen had 1 pick, Curtis, and that whole game he was. Listen, Allen was playing really good for the weather. Like, I don't know if I would say that. We drove right down the field. Like, Allen was having a very, very good game. So even if that's not, your defense hasn't made a stop though, right? So you go to overtime. You haven't made a stop yet. Do you go for it there on 4th and 6, or you kick the field goal and trust your defense, even though you haven't stopped them all second half? Like, for me, I go for it because you're just not stopping them. You haven't proven to stop them once. I think I go there. I think I go for the win.
I think he. The problem I think too is, like, he had a good game plan, but then they adjusted on offense.
Exactly,
and he did not readjust.
Right.
So at least if they kick the field goal, you got to, like, make some adjustments to kind of, like, do something differently. But you had him in situations like that one where the ball's in the guy's hands. If you don't knock it out and you tackle him there, then you might have won too. So there was a bunch. It's not. I don't think it's as clear cut. I mean, I'm not a fan. If I'm a fan of the Bills, maybe it appears more clear cut. But from the outside, there were opportunities along the way.
What's your thought on the fumble or non-fumble call at the end? You think that was a fumble? It's really mixed.
To me, I like it. If the guy catches the football and it gets in his hands and it drops, it's fumble. I hate all this. You got to have 3 steps, 2.5, and demonstrate control.
Football move, right?
Yeah, it's always the same thing, and it puts it back into the refs, and the refs can say, today it's Thursday. It's got to be 3 steps. Oh, no, wait, it's Friday. It's got to be 1.5 steps. So I just don't like the whole thing. You get the football, it hits your hands, it gets knocked out, hits the ground, it's a fumble. That's it. Done. And then no problems, no, nothing. You know what I'm saying? It gets in your hand, you make 1 step, 1 move, it's a fumble. But all this extra stuff, it's just more over litigation.
I thought he took 2. It looked like a fumble. And I was shocked that they didn't even review it. They didn't even look at it.
They went to the expedite review. That's what something they incorporated in the NFL.
Which is
they don't
wild.
go long and don't make the games long.
Which is wild. Wild. Guys, that's so... I don't know. What this year has to be the worst with that, because I've seen fumbles with way less movement, as far as, like, they're saying it has to be 3 feet, 2 feet. I've seen way worse. They get turned. I don't get it, but Jedi Kev, what do you feel about the game, man?
Yeah, a big miscommunication with Davis in overtime. That was a short touchdown.
That was brutal.
And that was right there where the turning point. I knew Buffalo wasn't going to come out victorious there with that misplay there. Again, the officiating was terrible. I feel your pity. You know, we saw that on nationally televised with the Chiefs games and the Jets, how the referees screwed the whole pooch. And it's happening league-wide. I think there's too many rules for these officials to try to interpret, especially if they're part-time refs and not knowing the full scale, especially also when you're in bed with gambling. You know, you gotta make it sometimes keep it simple, stupid, and I think the rules needs to keep simplicity. And I think we'll have a better game. You know, and that's gonna lead to one of my rants later on as well. I've got a rant myself about about the
You'll be the rant guy tonight.
Yeah, today, and that's a tough one for Buffalo. That's a tough loss. They play their ass off. They play better than the Eagles, but the Eagles have been like this vampire you can't kill, coming back down by 10. And it's not just against the Bills. They've done it to other teams this season. Yeah. And there is a pedigree there with the Eagles. So was it really your team making mistakes or choking or whatever you want to call it with McDermott? Or is it just the Eagles? That's who they are. That's the question.
I think it could be a mixture of both. It could also be the refereeing as well. It could be a mixture of combination of everything. And it just and somebody mentioned too about Cook early on. We also shot ourselves in the foot. First drive, James Cook wide open, fucking drops the ball. Unacceptable. Bro, right in your hand. You cannot do that. That's 7 right off the board. You know what I mean? Like little things like that, plays like that will cost you at the end. It did. That's points right off the board, man. And I can't stand that. But yeah, and then the miscommunication between Allen and Davis at the end. But I mean, what are you gonna do, man? Listen. Got 5 games to go, man.
I gave a silver lining though. It wasn't an AFC opponent where and
I said that. I did say that. I said if you're gonna lose for the Bills, we had 6 games at the time. I was saying, but if you're gonna lose one, it's the Philly one, and I'll take it because it's an NFC opponent. But it's just devastating when things like that happen. And by the way, I guess we'll have to talk about it real quick. It's a bye week, and I thought it would be an easy week for me, stress-free for Bills Mafia, but. Von Miller, my God, man. Once again, though, I will say this. I did a video on that live. Actually, it's tough, man, when we talk about these situations because they sound terrible, and the Matariza thing, and I'll go back to it sounded awful, and it winded up being false, and a lot of people were quick to point the finger at him, and a lot of people. We're saying what a scumbag kid, Buffalo Bills, awful organization, keeping that kid around for as long. And it winded up being this kid was telling the truth. And it sucks. So it's hard for me to come on here early on and be like, oh, Von Miller, that sounds terrible. For sure he's guilty. But I also can't say the girl's not lying. So it's one of those situations where it's tough to to lean one way or the other. We're just gonna have to wait on it, but it came at a terrible time once again for the Bills. It's like the last 2 years have been weird. It's everything is going so strange for the Bills. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on the whole Von Miller thing, Curtis?
It's the same thing like I said about Tyreek. He had his thing in the offseason. You're getting paid all this money. You've got to know that everything you do is like going to be overanalyzed. So even if it is like a little nothing, the fact that it got to that point and you can't stabilize it just shows a lack of intelligence, a lack of maturity. And I don't understand, it's this guy's getting paid big money. It's a critical time of the season. How can you not control yourself? Now, I understand too that this is a warrior sport. You got people that live on their emotions. They're getting banged in the head. So, you can't, it's like a soldier. You turn him into an animal on the battlefield and you ask him to come home and play nice in the sandbox. Sometimes those universes, they don't really, cross over to what you want them to be. It's very difficult. So, I understand that, but it's a disaster. It's a disaster. It's not going to end well for you guys. You need him intensely, and he's probably going to, he just turned himself in.
Well, he did. He did.
I know.
Yeah.
So however you slice it, at the very least, it's bad judgment to allow it to get to that point. And then if it did go to the point that they're saying it's terrible judgment, so at no point is it wisdom. It's just weird because he seems like such a nice guy. He's got all these commercials and everything. It's just stupid. But again, you know, you take a junkyard dog and you know he's guarding the garage for 5-10 years, and all of a sudden you take him out of the garage and bring him home to the little kids to play, and he bites one of the kids. What, you know? So it's
yeah. Well, from what I heard is that, you know, I know they've had issues in the past, so this isn't the first, by the way.
Nice.
And she now is coming out and saying it's all blown out of proportion, blah 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 blah. But of course, there's a 911 call. It says otherwise, so it's really one of those things now. So it just sucks. Like I said, it's terrible timing once again for the Bills. Now, I will say he hasn't done anything since his return, but that doesn't mean he won't be ready. Maybe if we do wind up making a run here, but I don't know what the Bills do. Once again, they're in a tough situation because they're paying him a lot of money, so I don't know how that works. But yeah, I don't know. What's your thoughts, Kev? Like, what do the Bills do?
With all the turmoil, you're gonna have to set an example. I understand. Unfortunately, the athletes have a different standard. They're more guilty until innocent instead of being innocent until proven guilty when it comes to an athlete because of the public relations and all that stuff. When it comes to the professional athlete, if this is going on where she dropped the charges and now kumbaya, you got to get that toxic attitude from that locker room away. You're regardless of the fact the Buffalo Bills are fighting for a playoff life with birth. You don't need that negativity. You're already fired. You already dismissed Ken Dorsey, which is not. It's not a public relation situation. It's a football move. This is outside of the football world, getting into your locker room. I think you have to cut bait with Von Miller. Like you said, he's not proving to you any depth or doing anything to help the team out. I think you should be able to move on from him, cut it, and it also shows to the locker room that you're focusing on not just trying to win and get into the postseason, but going on a deep playoff run. So it'd be interesting the moves that the Buffalo Bill organization is going to do going forward and set the precedent. So it's an interesting thing. It came on a bye week where you could get ahead of stuff. And look, if he's found guilty and he gets the punishment of the law, just hopefully he doesn't bring Old Spice bars with him. He just uses the liquid soap.
Well, if they find him guilty, he's going to prison. I mean, there's no.
That's right. That's why he don't bring the bars. He don't bring bars of soap. He brings the liquid. So if he drops the soap, he doesn't get into some trouble.
And Curtis,
she's already backtracking. I doubt anything happens.
You guys got no comedic brains tonight.
Yeah, I will say.
No, I got it from your standpoint. Trust me, I got it. I don't think. I mean, I just don't think. I don't think.
What does that? But what do you? But. You know how that goes. I mean, I don't know. I think what he said, man. I think the Bills need to really decide what they want to do here. What they feel is right, and I know that he's been accused more than once, so that's not a good thing. So
he probably will be. He probably will be on that commissioner exempt list. He will definitely.
Yeah. Yep. So, anyways, moving forward.
Let me ask you this, Tommy, real quick, before you move on real quick. Sorry to interrupt. If he does get on the commissioner's exempt list and he gets pulled and he's off and there's a roster spot, any interested for you, Bills Nation, Dominican Sue?
He's not an edge, so it wouldn't really, what I would do is, I mean, I like him, but they just got Joseph, and Joseph's actually playing pretty well. There's no reason to. I wouldn't bring him in. He's not going to help
JPP,
on it.
But JPP signed elsewhere, so.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, honestly, it would just give more time to like players like AJ Epinesa, who's actually having a pretty decent season. They give him more playing time, and Leonard Floyd as well. So Leonard Floyd would be out in the field, and Leonard Floyd is having himself a really good year. So, it is what it is, man. They're gonna, it's gonna be interesting to see how this develops going into next week because he's officially still on the team. There's nothing's happened, so. I don't know. I think that's going to be a Brandon Beane decision, and it's weird because Brandon Beane and him are actually pretty good friends. So I don't know what's going to happen there. That's going to be an interesting move, man. Sorry if I'm missing any of your comments. Let me see if I'm missing some of your comments. I'm sorry. I saw that one. Let's see here. So yeah, let's see here. Roy Collins, maybe he gets put on the commissioner. Yep, we saw that. Hooked up Joe. The Bills have a low tolerance for this type of thing, don't they? Well, they got. So here's the deal. When we went live last 2022 in the offseason, when we drafted Matt Ariza, and the day that we cut him, I went live, and there was a lot of mixed opinion, a ton. And sometimes, man, the chat gets really going, guys, like, because it gets heated at times, you know what I mean? And I try to stay in the middle, and me and Mikey try to stay in the middle on that. And we just said our opinions at the time was, listen, I wasn't there. None of us are there. We don't know what truly happened. And I'm not going to say that it doesn't sound bad. But at the same time, we felt like it was a good decision for the Bills to let Matt Ariza go and take care of his own personal business, right? And clear his name. And that was the best thing you could do, because you keep him on the team playing football. He's going to be harassed all the time. Fans are going to boo him. He's going to be asked, the team around him in the locker room. It's just going to be it's not good, right? You got to let him just do what he has to do. And he did. He got a lawyer. All the evidence showed that he was not guilty. She totally lied. He's suing the girl now. He's suing the attorney. Like, good for him. But what sucks for him is he's a punter. So he's not back in the league. So, like, I feel for that kid. Now, if he was a quarterback or a linebacker like Vaughn or an edge or wide receiver, he'd be back in the league. There would be no problem, right? But for his case, he's just not back in the league. It's just, I feel.
You think he's ever going to get back in the league?
I think he's a game changer. A guy that could punt the ball 80 yards. I mean, literally, he could punt the ball. I mean, he's that good. He has that big of a leg. Yeah, if you're back to your end zone and a guy can punt, go look at his film. Unbelievable, man. And can put another opponent on their side of the field, like way into their 10, 15. That's a game changer. So I think, yeah, maybe. I think he gets a tryout eventually. Now, I know he did get a tryout for the Jets, I want to say, or somebody early on in the offseason, didn't make the team. But who knows? They could have already had a veteran punter they wanted to keep. But he is a game changer. Maybe he gets another chance. But
I wouldn't want him over Morstead. You see what?
But I would 100% take this guy back if I could. But we have a punter now. They just paid him, so he's not coming back. You know what I mean? To the Bills. So.
Did he? He didn't punt or kick or punt or do any kicking for the XFL or the USFL.
No, he never. He didn't. He
maybe
didn't do
that
any
might
of that.
be his route. Maybe that might be his route to prove it.
He might do so. Yeah, he might have to go to XFL and prove his. But what's good about him is he actually kicked in college as a kicker and a punter. So what he was trying to do before all this happened, Curtis, he was trying to be the first ever. He was trying to do it, field goal kicker and punter, which would have been interesting for the kid. But anyways, long story short, man, like
that.
Yeah, these situations are dicey, man, because like I said, a lot of people, if you go back in time, even Bills fans were like, this, sick bastard. And like, so it's tough, man, because it sounds awful. And sometimes it's just not true. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we can't say it's not because we don't know yet, right? Yeah. So it's like, it's really one of those things, man. And that's why I'm saying now, the Vaughn thing, like I said, it sounds bad. And I think if I'm the Bills right now, I would do it like the Matt Ariza thing, man. Go handle your business, man. If it's not true, it'll come out. You'll get a job again somewhere else. Someone's going to pay you. We lose out. It sucks because the Bills are going to lose a lot of money. But if they want to feel right and doing the right thing and let Vaughn take care of business, then fine. But I don't know. I have no idea how this thing's going to play out. It's just really weird because he's not a punter. Get what I'm saying? Like, he's not Matt Ariza. He's Von Miller. And that's what makes this thing intriguing because
that's crazy. A lot of money. He played.
It's not a Ray Rice thing. Like if this thing was on video,
right?
Then you have no other option. But there's a phone call. Sounds bad, but there's a phone call. Once again, you don't know that. I've been in toxic relationships, girls. I'm just saying, guys too sometimes could say things just to get cops there, and they can get a little frantic.
I got a bunch of phone calls from you, man. I think I'm going to have you arrested for those nasty things you were saying about the Bills.
I did it to Curtis a few times. Anyways, but you guys know what I mean. So anything could be. It's right now. He said, she said, and right now she's saying it's not even true. So, of course, she could be lying, right? Because there's money involved, and it's your baby daddy. Like, so there's so much to it, guys. It's like I said, we weren't there. None of us was there. We don't know. He's never been accused. So, and by the way, too, I also want to bring up another point and a lot of people jump to conclusions. Ed Oliver DUI a few years ago. It turned out he wasn't even drinking. So a lot of Bills fans were like, cut him. Shady McCoy supposedly sent Doug's to beat up his girlfriend. Never happened. Not true. So a lot of people jumped really quick to say that guy's a piece of crap or guilty. And when sometimes it's not true. So we'll see what happens. And by the way, they brought up Tyreek Hill, and I know he had something like that similar.
He's done an amazing. I'll tell you, he's done an amazing job though.
But he's done good, right? But he did do something similar, right, or something like that.
Well, no, he did in the past. He did some pretty wild stuff, and he admitted to it. But then all season, this one was about him and some guy on a boat. He went crazy.
Well, that was petty.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, I really I always got hard on him because I didn't know about his past. But what I've seen this guy change from the off season to now, he did some kind of celebration with the kid, and then the kid got fired. He took care of him. Yeah. Some guy knocked ice cream on his girlfriend. He's like, oh, that's not, he didn't do it on purpose. Another guy was trying to take the football from his mom, but didn't know his mom was there, and he showed up with a signed jersey or something. And, he even says now, he's like, I'm in church. It's awesome. He got married. And guy looks like he's made a 360. Oh, no, 180. 360 be back where he was. Made a 180. And I'm really impressed. So you always got to hold that out, too. People make mistakes. And
100%. Yeah, 100%. Like I said, there's some things that you can, turn around and make it up for. But some things you can't. Obviously, like the Ray Rice thing. That's something that he's blacklisted. By the way, he would never ever you saw it. He was a good running back, right? Like he was one of the better ones. But since it was on video and it was so crazy,
didn't he knock around, just walk over?
Yeah,
it was so
dragged
cold,
her out of the.
That was dragged her in the elevator like a kid.
Yeah. I mean that was intense. Yeah, and mind you, the NFL tried to initially hide it, or, give him nothing. I think they gave him nothing. I think he was a fine, something small. And once the video happened, that was a wrap, Jack. There was nothing.
They took a lot of heat for that.
Oh, dude, a ton. And that's why it's now it's big time, man. If anything like that happens, they get it. So it's going to be interesting, like I said, what they do with Vaughn. But right now, like I said, man, I don't know what the Bills do. I really don't, man. So we'll find out. We'll find out soon. We'll find out next Sunday. That's for sure if he's on the field or not. Because if he's on the field, man, I think the fans are going to, in KC, who knows what they're going to let him have it. I can promise you that. All right, let's get to next week's games. All right, let's start with it. Let's start with the best game of the week. Chargers at Patriots, the one that
what? Is there something? Also, I got knocked out. I fell asleep.
Trevor and Juan are there. It's so funny that they picked this game. So Zappy is starting. Curtis, we'll start with you. Can the Patriots win with the new starting quarterback?
No. Next. No.
So do you want? Next. So the Chargers are 4-7.
No.
All right, give me your score prediction. It's in New England. They got.
I don't know, but they're gonna lose.
So
I think
Patriots
20 to 6.
All right, so finally you're understanding the Patriots cannot score more than 10 points.
20 to 6.
Okay. So Kev.
I'm totally opposite, man. I'm gonna be the difference.
Whoa, he's on the Zappy train.
I think
I can't.
Here's the reason why I'm actually thinking the Patriots are gonna win. It's because the coaching, man. I think Staley's an idiot of a coach for Los Angeles. Bills just, unless they're in tank mode because they lost to the freaking Giants who were in disarray on offense. I understand that, but I can't think of NFL players who are fighting for their lives and to stay in the league are going to go back to back and give stinkers for the New England Patriots. These guys got pride. They're professionals. They get paid. I think they're going to play a pretty good game, and I think when it comes down with a couple coaching decisions, is it going to be one of these barn burners? Yes, like the way the Giants and Patriots played. It's going to be New England. I like New England winning 16. 14. Something crazy, low scoring. I
Whoa.
think Juan and Trevor are going to get excited or either that or get arrested in
Right. One or
Foxborough.
the other. One or the other. Oh man. See, I don't see it happening. So Zappy, not much better than Mac Jones. Though I think he is a tad better. I just don't think he's like a lot better than him. But I think that offense just stinks. I'm gonna say, and the Chargers are weird, man, because the Chargers can put up 40 points if they, but then they can put up 10 if they're an odd team. Even on defense, like I said, they have the players like that team. If you look at it, it's kind of stacked. It's just not stacked with the coaching, right? So,
They're not in the right position to win week in.
yeah,
week out.
they're a mess, man. So I don't like. I'm shocked he's still coaching there. I'm shocked that they haven't fired him already.
Exactly.
He's and he has a little bad attitude on him too. So I'm gonna say, God, the Patriots can't score. I'm gonna say 21-9 Chargers. I think 9 points is good for the Patriots. 3 field goals. So I mean, I'm being nice. I mean, it is in New England.
Chargers are one of a top 10 team in run stops. So to me, that says a lot. They're not going to be able to throw the football. So
Yeah. All right, let's get to the next game. Falcons at Jets. Interesting one, though. Let's talk real quick, so we didn't talk about it. Aaron Rodgers, and we'll go to Jedi Kev, is back at practice. How do you feel about Aaron Rodgers potentially returning this season? Is it a mistake, or you like it?
No, it's fine. He's just in practice. He's got the 21-day window now to see if he's going to get activated or not. To me, I think he's just taking attention away from the Daniel Hackett terrible offensive calling. The inability of scoring a touchdown, or their offense stuttering, the team a little bit out of control. Lassard's benching. There is a negative cloud going around Jets drive, but now Rodgers on the field, it kind of you have the sun peeking through. Because now instead of focusing on all the different things, Salah's got to go. All the negative that comes when it comes to losing. Now you have Rodgers, even if he's just on the floor, on the field, stepping back, throwing. Now the attention is diverted. It's the old 3-card Mountie. Look at here, find the card, find the card, find the card. Here we go, and you're looking for the card. But meanwhile, you're not seeing all the disarray that's going around with the Jets from the coaching, from yada yada, and this is a big game this weekend, no matter what, against the Falcons. If there is really truth to that, he is going to come out and play in a couple of weeks after that 21-day window. Well, guess what, you buddy boys? You got to win the next 2 games because it means you got. If you lose the next 2, and Rodgers, see you next year. So you have to. Jets are in a must-win, back against the wall. They have to beat the Falcons. By the way, the Falcons are, even though they're at 5-6, I believe, they're still right there, first place for that division. So they got a lot to play, even though they kind of stink, but they're still there. They're trying to win for division. So this is not a layup win. Jets are going to come on the field, and just because they're on the field, they're going to win. Lassard will get activated. Lassard's, who can't catch COVID. He said he could help. He could help Boyle catch some balls. And let's see. Only, you know what? I'm going to be like Thomas. From the Bible, I got to see it to believe it. If they're going to throw the football, if they're going to open up the offense. Right now, I'm holding my enthusiasm or my ira to see what's going to happen the next 2 weeks when it comes to the Jets. So let's see what happens. Don't get fooled with the 3-card Mountie, with Rodgers returning, not returning. It all depends on what's on the field. He's putting the cards on the table. As a team, collectively, if you guys don't turn crap around, I'm just going to go back and heal and put my foot in the ocean and hear some Dolphins have some coitus and heal up for next year.
All right, Curtis, what do you think, man?
I think the Jets are going to win. They got the Riddler or whatever at the quarterback. I don't know. I mean, I think you're also getting Becton back, and if Donald's almost ready to go. To me, the offensive line gets themselves back. I like Boyle. You could see at the end of the Dolphins game, he started to find a little bit of rhythm. I don't know why they didn't call that more to begin with. Maybe he just wasn't ready for it or whatever. I think the Jets win. I do. I think even Rodgers showing up and just being there gives a little bit of hope to the players. Like, oh, maybe we're playing for freaking something here. And your Jets are at home, and the Falcons aren't a wonderful team. So I think the Jets win. I mean, 17-10 Jets.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think the Falcons win this game because Tim Boyle was god awful.
You saw that watch along. You were there.
And listen, guys, I've never watched a full game. I usually watch Red Zone. If it's not the Buffalo Bills, it's the only game I'll watch full. Everything else, Red Zone. But Friday, I'm like, hey, it's the only game. Pretty cool. Black Friday. And my man here, Jedi Kev, was doing a watch along, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll listen to Jedi Kev call the game. And my God, was that terrible.
Brutal.
Awful, awful, awful. I don't know if Zach Wilson is any. I don't know if he's any better than Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle. His arm strength, was just, I don't see it. At least Zach Wilson could throw the ball downfield, has a little power behind it. Like, I saw bad decisions by Boyle. I saw him, I saw the offensive coordinator basically babying him up. Everything short, underneath.
That offensive line was such a disaster.
I get it, but man, at some point,
dude, think about it. You got Jalen Phillips, Chubb, Wilkins, Steeler, Ramsey, Howard, Holland, Fangio.
I get it, but at some point but it's some point you got to throw the ball downfield. You can't just keep on dinking and dunking, especially when that's not even working anyways. Like, you have to mix it up at some point, and they didn't. They didn't even take the quarterback out. Like, they were just like, hey, fuck it. Like, we're just going to continue to do dink and dunk, and the Dolphins were loving it. So, listen, the Falcons, I think they got playmakers. I do. I don't like their coach, to be honest with you. I think their coaches just don't like them. But they got some playmakers. Ritter's an up and down quarterback, young quarterback, but they got the Robinson kid. Good tight end. I mean, they got some playmakers. I love the Jets defense, but I just feel like the Jets offense stinks so bad. They're so awful that the Jets defense in these games are just giving up by the third quarter, and they're just like, fuck it. Like, they are not doing anything for us. And I can see this game going like that again. And if you look at the Jets lately, their defense has been giving up mad points because they're just giving up. I think they're just like, we are not doing this anymore. Why are we even fighting out here? So I think the Falcons win this game. I think this game's close, just like the games have been prior for the Bills, the Dolphins when they played the Jets. And I think the third quarter, Jets wind up just saying fuck it, and they give up a touchdown, and the game gets out of control. I think the Falcons wind up winning something like 24 to 10, something like that. 24 to 10, 20. I'll say 27 to 10. I think because the Jets have been giving up a lot of points in the third and fourth quarter, just giving up. I'll say 27-10 Falcons. I just don't trust the Jets offense. I can even see some turnovers in this game by the Jets on offense. And also, I got to say, too, the one thing I thought the Jets were going to do when Rodgers went down was actually try to run the ball more and make it more of a run attack team with the two-headed monster there. And they haven't. They really didn't do it. They have two of Dalvin Cook. Now, mind you, he's not Dalvin Cook in Minnesota, but he's still a pretty good running back. I don't get it. Like, why aren't you and I know the offensive line isn't the greatest, but you could have worked around that. You could have done setting screens. You could have run the ball more, like something. Like, Zach Wilson was not the answer. They should have really got a veteran quarterback right away, and they did not do that. Right away. I could have said it right away, and I said it right away. Yep. And that was the mistake. But that's where I got this game, 27-10. I just don't like the Jets offense. I can't say you guys are going to score more than 10 points. It's so tough. So that's where I'm happy.
Yeah,
27-9 Falcons. Wow. So other people are getting
field goals. Yeah.
Yeah. Who has the worst offense? Roy's coming in. Jets or Patriots? So I'll ask you, Kev. Worst offense.
It's a good question. At least it's a tough one because are you going by wins and losses? I'm going to say that the
Just offense
Jets,
in general. If
the
they're
Jets got a worse offense because at least with the Jets, some of the Jets win were because of the defense taking the ball away and getting the pick six and scoring. So I'm going to think the Jets have a little bit more worse offense than the Patriots.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. What about you, Curtis?
Who do I think? So what? The Jets?
Worse, yeah, Jets or Patriots?
I mean, the Patriots.
Oh, Jets, because their offensive line's a disaster.
Yeah.
I think if their offensive line would have been healthy, you could have seen much better success, even with anything. It's just you cannot have a substandard quarterback, substandard OC, and a substandard offensive line. One of those three, preferably all three, but at least two of those three has to be quality. And when you have an offensive line that bad, it's a black hole, even for good quarterbacks and good OCs.
Yeah, that's true. I would agree with this, Scott. I think the Jets even have better overall like weapons on offense. They got Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, Garrett Wilson. There are some decent weapons out there, and then they got the one running back that you like. I forget his name.
Izzy Adekanda.
Yeah. So they got guys. I just think it's just their offensive coordinator's a joke, right? And that's one. Right, kind of like Ken Dorsey was. I finally admitted it. And their quarterback play is just terrible, and their offensive line obviously can't hold up for shit. Can't run block, can't pass block. It's going to be tough to win.
They can't stay healthy. They can't stay healthy. Every time they want to get some cohesion, there's always a.
I mean, at least New England's. I mean, I'm not saying they're much better, but their offensive line's a little better. You know, Stevenson's a pretty good running back, but I don't know if he's as dynamic as Breece Hall. And they got no receivers, but that's Belichick. He's the one that he had time in the offseason to pick somebody else other than who would they wind up picking up? The guy for Juju. Is Juju there? Isn't Juju in New England?
Yeah.
And he hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything. And then they got the guy from the ex-Miami Dolphin that he's there as well. They paid him a few years ago.
Parker.
He hasn't done really anything. They got Gesicki, which I'm really surprised. I got to be honest. I'm really surprised Gesicki's having this bad of a year because he's not a bad tight end. I know he's not a physical blocking tight end, but he's a lot like Kincaid as far as receiving goes. He's a solid weapon. They just don't go to him. He has to be regretting that signing. He has to be regretting that signing. All right, let's get to the next.
I don't know how much he's regretting it.
Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but money-wise, he's fine. Like but I'm just saying, winning also, if he cares about winning, trust me, he's regretting. All right, let's go to the last game, which is Dolphins at Commanders. By the way, is their quarterback Commanders, I forget his name, still leading the league? How? In the yard? Isn't that crazy?
He's not. I watched him play. He's not bad, man. He's not.
No, he makes some mistakes for a younger quarterback. Yeah. He's not terrible. Yeah, you're right. And they got some playmakers. They also got playmakers on that side. They do.
Eric Bieniemy's a great OC, man.
He's is. Really OC. Absolutely. So I guess we'll start with you, Curtis. It's your game. So how do you see this going?
Well, it depends, man. First thing I think is the weather. It might be a little wet out there. Gusts are in it's in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
So they're talking like 60% rain, drizzle throughout. And I think that will slow down Miami, which could put a little bit into the Commanders. They're not as bad a defense as you think. They're not as bad as an offense as you think. I think it's going to be scrappy. I'm very interested to see if Tehran's going to play. Holland's going to be out, and that's a big problem. I think there's opportunities for the Commanders to take it. I don't think they will, but I think they could, depending on this weather. This weather's a big deal. Phillips is not going to be in there, so it's going to be interesting to see how they get the pass rush. That's the biggest thing. If you look, Howell's the most sacked with 55 sacks. He's the most pressured at he's like the eighth most pressured, like 23.8. He's got the most deflections, like 16 batted passes. So there's a lot of interference on him from the offensive line. Tommy, can you see me? Tommy, can you hear me? Tommy.
Go ahead. Go ahead, buddy.
So if you look last year, they were a top defense, but they altered and went to 10% more man coverage. And so what I think they're going to do, they're going to do like a Jets Patriots stuff. Hey, dude, where did everybody go? Did everybody leave me? Hey, I'm a rook, man. What happened? Sorry, Tommy. I had to just do a little impersonation of my man Tommy. And so now I think with Rivera taking over for Del Rio, they're going to go more to like a 2 high safety. They're going to keep a Tua having to be consistent. You didn't break my flow, did you, buddy?
No, you
when
damn,
the
you're
student
good.
becomes the
You are.
master.
Oh my god.
So I think this offense is dangerous enough. You see, like when we played the Patriots, they had no offense. We played the Jets, they ran the 2 high safeties, they had no offense. You look at the Giants, they really didn't have much in offense. Panthers, they all kind of played this style and gave us some problems, but ultimately broke through. But now we're on the road. There could be rain. And this team can put points on. Those backs are dangerous. Both those backs coming in the backfield, and they can still get after you. So I got to see the injuries. I got to see the weather. I do think the Dolphins will win. If the weather's good and Dolphins had their offensive line, Teron, Connor, and Hunt, we win. But each one of these things, if it's raining, maybe Teron's not in, I think it could sway to you could see an upset. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I don't think this is going to be an easy game. I think there's going to be like a 6-point game, maybe 7-point game. So I'll say like 27-21 Miami, unless it's raining. And then I think it could be maybe a 3-point game. And if Teron's not in and it's raining, I could even see a 3-point loss. So that's how I would lay it out.
Oh.
What are you getting? What do you? People want to know what you're eating over there.
Well, my wife made some have homemade nachos with our own sauce. With our own dip. So it's with meat and lettuce. Tomatoes, and she made it. So refried beans. So it's delicious.
Nice. By the way, Jose, they want to know where Captain D, if he's done. He's not done, but he's more of a guest that comes on once or twice a season.
He's like the abominable snowman. He pops up every once in a while.
Yeah, he's too cool for us now, man. So he doesn't pop on. But we do listen, I will say this though. Right. We are having some changes to the podcast. And we'll announce that week 18, like I said. So there's gonna be more than that. So it's tough, but we'll talk about that week 18. We're gonna talk about it now. Anyways, so let's get to you, Jedi Kev, man. What do you think about this game, man?
It's gonna be a pretty good game. I thought at first when I looked at it, I go, it's gonna be one of those Miami blowout, go out there. But Washington, I believe, is still in the hunt, if I'm not mistaken. Rivera's coaching for his life. You said he took over the call duties, right? So he's actually coaching, from Del Rio. So he's going to try to coach for his life to show a team that he still could coach in this league, and he's got something to show. So, like you said, Curtis, I can see where you have that worry that the Washington Commanders will do something to win. But no, all in all, I think they're Miami's much more talented, man. I know, although we're going to see what they're going to do without Phillips at the pass rush. McGinkle now gets more opportunities. Let's see how they go after the quarterback, and I think Tyreek Hill is just going to, and Waddle just going to have one of those type of monster games, high scoring, ill rated. I see Washington wins this one. 31-17 at the nation's capital.
The Dolphins, you mean? You said Washington. You mean the Dolphins?
I said, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's right.
Right. Miami wins.
Yeah, I'm on board, man, with what you're saying, what Jose is saying. I'm around that score, too. I think something like, Jose, I'll agree with you on that. 30-13. I just think that the Dolphins offense is just, it's tough, man. If you don't play them right, man, you playing man coverage, Tyreek Hill is going to kill you. And a lot of teams make that mistake against Tyreek Hill. And Washington, listen, they're a weird team because they can actually battle with you at times. Like they can actually give you a dogfight. But I just feel like this game, man, and they also lost some of their defensive players. Obviously, they traded them away, but I don't know. I just feel like the Dolphins right now offensively are just too much for that team to handle. And not only that, I felt like the Dolphins defense is getting a little bit better as the season goes on as well, putting a lot of pressure up. Phillips is a big loss, but you also got to remember too, Ramsey's actually playing good, right? He wasn't around early in the season. Xavier Howard is actually playing good. So their defense has started to actually play a little bit better. And honestly, Van Ginkel, whatever that guy's name is, he's not bad. He is not a bad player to fill in for Phillips. He gets around that edge pretty fast too. I've seen him spark in a couple games when he was filling in at times. So obviously he's not Phillips, but man, that's a good guy to have as a rotational guy, as a guy that for depth. And look, he's going to fill in, and I think he'll fill in good. So yeah, I don't think this game's close, man. If this game's close, it's because Tua is turning the ball over, and Tua has turned the ball over lately, and giving maybe Washington a chance to stick around, but I don't see that happening. So I'll go with that, and at 30-13, yeah, I'll go with Jose's score. So anything else, gentlemen, before we go, man? I try to keep this thing no longer than an hour tonight, man.
I got a rant.
That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, and he's wearing the ref shirt, by the way, today, guys. So exactly. I have a feeling. There was a reason. And at first I was like, damn, it's a pretty cool looking shirt you're wearing. At first I thought it's a different attire, but then I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna rant on the refs. Go ahead, let's hear it.
Yeah, my thing is, I'm ranting today on the NFL officiating. Keep it simple. Too many rules. Too many crazy stuff here. And I'm gonna go when it comes to the offense. I know they want their offenses up. They don't know what the hell is it roughing the passer. What's a hog collar? What's what? They want to protect the quarterback. Am I correct? We all established that because when the starting quarterback goes out, the backups stink, and the offense takes 10 steps back. So here's what why can't we relax the offensive lineman rules on the holding? If you're grabbing a player and falling down on the ground, that's holding. Anything else should be open game. Hands on the chest, grabbing the inner part of the shoulder pad, because you got these 300 plus pound who run a 4.4 coming forward to go after the quarterback, and you have 300-pound linemen trying to go on their tippy toes or on their back heels, backing up to try to block these bull rush. What do you think is going to happen? There's going to be a possible grab of a hold. You got to relax those rules a little more. Allow them. Maybe we get some good quarterback play. Maybe they could complete the passes in 3 seconds. Maybe they could run the football. But if you're going to call penalties for nonchalant and you become the star of the show, so it should be the National Referee League instead of the National Football League, because every week it's the same minutia of nonsense. And we got to know what's going on with the plays here. Allow them to jam the receiver. I personally would like the cornerback to jam the wide receiver in underneath 10 yards. If you get past the first down sticks, you shouldn't. If you're underneath it, jam the shit out of them, because these guys are so fast and so quick and so elusive. You got to relax the rules a little bit. Too much rules, too much minutia, and for too much interpretation for so many different point of views. That's what makes the world around. Everyone has different thought of opinion. So if you got these rules and everybody's trying to interpret it, it's just giving up to disaster. The only reason a saving grace of the NFL, in my opinion, is gambling. If there was no money involved with this thing would be the National Hockey League, when no one really cares too much. Because there's money to be made and money to watch. That's why it's so popular. And that's my opinion. And I hate that. Relax the rules a little bit so we could get better product on the field and we could get going.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think the rules are they're not only that, some of these are so complicated, which they shouldn't be. Take some of them out. Some of them are so ridiculous. And even the refereeing sometimes, they'll pick up a flag and they'll say, never mind. Then they'll throw a late flag during a timeout. We're like, like they did it again. I think it was the Eagles game. And we came back. They're at the 5-yard line. I'm like, what happened? And they don't even show you the replay. What happened? It's just like crazy to me. And by the way, real quick, not a rant, but the little butt push thing that Philly does, cush push or whatever they call it, tush push. Jordan Phillips tried to time that, and Kelsey's out here whining that he's a dirty player. There's no other way around that play. You have to time that play. It's almost impossible. They're going to get a 1 or 2 yards every single time. So I don't disagree with Phillips jumping, trying to time it. Because if you time it right, he would have got there. Believe it or not, he was off by a second. I'm just saying. So I don't know if that's a dirty. Now, I'm not, by the way, he did play a little dirty at times in that game. I'm not going to say he wasn't totally Mr. Clean, but it's a brutal sport. Trust me, a lot of things happen that you probably don't even see in football games, guys. Yeah. So, wow, like Phillips, but I just thought that was a little soft by Kelsey, and Kelsey's going to be probably a Hall of Fame. He's awesome center. Don't get me wrong, but why you could play, he wasn't trying to hurt nobody. He was trying to time the fucking play, and a play that was up to debate if it's even going to be legal this year, and they kept with it. So, what do you feel about that tush push, Curtis? Do you like that? Do you think they should take that away?
Yeah, I don't care, because if everybody could do it, they would do it.
Exactly. So, I just think they master it. I think they got the team to master it.
I mean, but the whole thing with Phillips, I thought that was kind of lame. I heard him say something like he tried to hurt somebody or something, but I didn't know what he was talking about. If that's what he was talking about, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's talking about the play. Basically,
that was ridiculous.
It was when he jumped over and tackled what's his name? The quarterback there, Hurts. So, but I mean, he was trying to, like I said, there's no other way around it. Because if you saw the next play, we wait. Our players were waving on top of their offensive lineman into the end zone. There is no way to stop that, especially with them. They do it so well. So, but to me, I don't think you should take it out. I think as a defensive coordinator, you need to figure it out. I know it sucks, but you're going to have to figure that out. Figure a way to stop it, because eventually somebody will. There's going to be a defense coordinator figures it out.
And they'll lose some of their offensive line talent and time.
That's true as well. Yeah, you're right. Eventually they will too. So, but yeah, I just want to get. I thought that was a little petty. And then also, obviously, I know you guys saw the fans thing. Fans getting into it with Shaq Lawson and Jordan Phillips. So, I don't know. I think the security probably needed to escalate that quicker. Maybe move the fan or
de-escalate it.
Yeah, exactly. Like de-escalate it. Right. A little bit quicker so that stuff doesn't happen. Right.
Thanks, Kev. Thanks for getting in there, man.
Thanks, man. I But anyways, all right, guys. So next week, guys, by the way, we won't be on Jedi Kev's network. We're going to be on Curtis, because Jedi's doing old WCW videos.
NXT watch along.
He's doing a WCW Nitro watch along from 96 to.
Is Ultimate Warrior coming back? If not, I'm not watching.
You're right.
Maybe the Zombie Fight.
You're right. Is Ric Flair going to be out there with the whole Four Horsemen?
Be careful. He said to your daughters and your sisters, your mothers, to meet him at the hotel room on Saturday night. On Friday last night, he said that. Still styling and profiling.
Once again, where can they find you, Jedi Kev? Even though it's in my description.
Yeah,
Sports
Jedi Network. I do all the watch-alongs, and we do some Yankee stuff. Hot Stove Baseball is getting hotter, so we ask you guys to join us, and especially the wrestling. Monday Night Raw, CM Punk is returned, Randy Orton is returned, and of course the Jets are in, and of course you see us here on the AFC Shakedown. So thank you guys.
All right, maybe the Free Birds makes an appearance. I'm not sure if they do or not. Curtis, where can they find you, man?
They can find me here and on Ace Per Head on YouTube. I think that's, and maybe someplace else. I don't know that, but that's where you'll find me mostly, with Tommy and Kev on AFC Shakedown and Ace Per Head on YouTube.
So y'all know next week, Curtis, the tech wizard, will be hosting.
Tech magician.
Anyways,
right.
guys,
I'll be just you two guys. You'll be all right.
All right, man. Bill's Mafia and everybody that was in the chat today. I appreciate it. Appreciate you all for stopping in, man. And
thanks, guys.
That's it. We're out of here, guys.
Hit the like.
See you later. Yeah, definitely hit the like. All right, guys. See you later. Be good. Go Bills. Peace.
Adios.
right?
See, Peter, he's too fast.
You gotta tackle me. It's B. You gotta press B.
I'm pressing B. He's too fast.
Going over here? Going over here now? Never get tired.